Welcome to today's video on Unit 12, Part 1, called Surface Areas of Prisms and Cylinders. So, in this unit, we're going to work on three-dimensional figures and how to find area and volume of those figures. So first, we'll start with surface area. So there are two types of area when we talk about a prism, cylinder, or any three-dimensional object. There's the lateral area, and the lateral area is just the area of the faces. So notice in this prism here, there are two bases. There's a top and a bottom. And then the sides of the prism, there are as many sides as there are sides to the base. So since the base here is a hexagon, then there are 6 faces here. So the lateral area is just the area of the faces. And to find the area of the faces, you take the perimeter of the base and multiply it by the height of the prism. So perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. And in a prism, the height of the face is the length of one of these rectangles. The surface area is the total area, and that is the lateral area plus the area of the two bases. So, to find the lateral area and surface area of this hexagonal prism, so remember lateral area equals perimeter of the base times the height. So since there's 5, the side length is 5. So perimeter of the base times the height. So 5 is the one side, so the perimeter is 6 times 5, which is 30, and the height is 12. So the lateral area is 30 times 12, which is 360 square centimeters. As far as the surface area, that's equal to the lateral area plus the area of the two bases. Well, the area of one base, so remember this is a hexagonal prism, so remember we need to find, remember the area of the base here is 1/2 perimeter times apothem, so it's 1/2 30 times, but we need the apothem. So remember the apothem is the height of the triangle here, and since it's a hexagon, remember the central angle is going to be 60 degrees, which makes this a 30, 60, 90. So if I draw the triangle a little bigger, here's the apothem that we want. This is 5. This is going to be 30. So that means this is 5/2 or 2.5, which means that the apothem then is 2.5 rad 3. So it's 1/2 30 times 2.5 rad 3. So when you multiply that in your calculator, and you get that the area of one base is 64.95, so basically 65.0, because it wants you should probably round to the nearest tenth. So then, to find the surface area, you need two bases, so 2 times 65 is 130. So the lateral area then is equal to 360 plus 130, which is equal to 490 square centimeters. Or sorry, the total area, which is the surface area, is equal to the lateral area plus the area of the two bases, which is 490. All right. So now an octagonal prism, to find the lateral area remember it's perimeter of the base times the height. So the lateral area here is 8 times 3 plus, or sorry, times 9. So 24 times 9, which is 648 centimeters squared. Then we have to find the surface area. So we need to find the area of the two bases. So once again, it's a octagon. So we know the perimeter is 24. And this is half of 3, which is 1.5. We got to find the apothem. And remember, 360 divided by 8 is 45, which means that this is 22.5. So to find the apothem, we have opposite over adjacent. So we can do tangent 22.5 equals 1.5 over A. So we can multiply. So we get A tangent 22.5 equals 1.5, and then divide. So you get A equals 3.6. So that's the apothem. So remember, the area of one base is 1/2 the perimeter, which is 24, times the apothem, which is 3.6. Which gives you 43.2. But then remember, there's two bases. So the area of the bases is 86.4. So to find the surface area, you take the lateral area, which is 648, plus the area of the two bases, which is 86.4, and you get 734.4 square centimeters for the surface area. So the lateral area is 648, surface area is 734.4. All right, so find the surface area of the rectangular prism. This one might be a little easier to find the area of the bases. So the rectangular prism, so first you have to find the lateral area. So the perimeter of the base, well, this is a square, so the perimeter is 24, and the height is 12. So 24 times 12 gives you 288 square centimeters, and the area of the two bases, well, one base is a square, so it's 6 squared, which is 36, times 2, which is 72. So the surface area is 288 plus 72, which is equal to 360 square centimeters. All right, so here's a triangular prism because the base is a triangle. So the lateral area, so the perimeter of the base, well, if this is 12 here, you have 6. So you could do the Pythagorean theorem to find out what this side is here. So you go 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to x squared. And when you do the Pythagorean theorem, that's 36 plus 64 equals x squared. 100 x squared. So 10 is equal to x. So that means the sides here are 10 and 10, which means that the perimeter of the base is 32, and then the height of the prism is 10. So 320 is the lateral area. Then the area of the two bases, well, it's 2 times 1/2, 8 times 12, So basically 8 times 12 is equal to 96. So the surface area is 320 plus 96, which is equal to 416 square units. All right, so then we're going to move on to cylinders. And the lateral area of a cylinder, instead of perimeter of the base, because perimeter of a circle is circumference, so that's why it's 2 pi r times the height, because the circumference of a circle is the perimeter. And then it's the same thing. The surface area is just the lateral area plus the area of the two bases. But remember, bases in a circle, in a cylinder, are circles, and the area formula is pi r squared. So that's why it's 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. So if it wants you to find the lateral area and surface area of the cylinder, well, the lateral area is equal to the perimeter of the base, so 2 times pi times 14, plus or times the height, which is 18. So when you put that in your calculator, the lateral area is 1,583.4, and then the area of the base, the bases, they're both circles, so it's 2 times 14 squared times pi. So when you multiply 14 squared times pi times 2, you get 1,231.5. So that's why when you add those, the surface area is equal to 2,814.9 square feet. All right, for the next one, number 6, the lateral area, remember it's the perimeter of the base, so 2 pi r times the height, which is 20. So when you multiply 2 pi times 12 times 20, you get 1,507.96, so basically 1,508. The area of the two bases, it's 2 times 12 squared times pi. So 144 times pi times 2, 904.8. So 904.8 plus 1,508 gives you 2,412.8 square feet. So that's the total. That's the total area of the cylinder. All right, so here's some examples. A soup can is covered with the label shown. What is the radius of the soup can? Well, since this is basically it flattened out. The circumference, remember, is 2 pi r. And so since basically it's 15.7 around, right? So 15.7 is equal to 2 pi r. So to find the radius, you divide. So dividing by 2 pi gives you that the radius is 2.499 inches. All right, it says find the diameter of a base of a cylinder if the surface area is 480 pi square inches and the height is 8 inches. because remember, surface area is equal to 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So the surface area is 480 pi, and that's equal to 2 pi r times 8 plus 2 pi r squared. So that means when you multiply, you get 16 pi r plus 2 pi r squared. And then you can divide each term by pi. So you get 480 equals 16r plus 2r squared. Notice each term now can be divided by 2. So you get 240 equals 8r plus r squared. Now you're going to have to factor. So you got to bring the 240 over. You get r squared plus 8r minus 240 equals 0. And the factors of 240, negative 240 that add to 8 are positive 20 and negative 12. So that means r equals negative 20, r equals 12. So it can't be negative. So the radius is 12, which means the diameter is 24 inches. All right, some practice problems. Number 9, it says find the lateral area. Well, the lateral area of a cylinder is 2 pi r h. So it's 2 times pi times 3.2 times 6.5, and that gives you 130.69 feet. It says find the lateral area of this prism. Well, the base, that's 4 and that's 5. So lateral area, remember, is the perimeter of the base times the height in a prism. So the perimeter of the base here is 4, 9, 13, 18, 25 times the height, which is right here, which is 6. So 25 times 6 would be 150 square inches. That's just the lateral area. All right, then the surface area here of the cylinder. Well, remember, that's lateral area plus the area of the two bases. So the lateral area here, remember, is 2 pi r h, which is 2 pi times 8 times 20. And then that equals 1005.3. And then the area of the two bases is 2 pi r squared, which is 2 times pi times 8 squared. Which is 402.1. So when you add that to 1005.3, you get the surface area is 1407.4 square centimeters. And last but not least, find the surface area of this prism. So you got to find the lateral area first, and it's a triangular prism. 10, 15. The only thing we need is this here to find the perimeter. So if we go 10 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. So 100 plus 225 equals x squared. 325 equals x squared. So when you take the square root of 325, you get 18.02. So when you take the perimeter, all right, so when you add up the perimeter of the base and multiply it by the height, 10, 25, 43.02, times the height, which is 8, gives you 344.16. Now to find the surface area, you take 344.16 and add it to the area of the two bases, which are triangles, and it's 1/2 10 times 15. So 344.16 plus 10 times 15, which is 150, gives you 494.2 square millimeters. All right, so that concludes our video on part 1. Part 2 coming up next.